2 episodes in 1 week. Look out, folks. The network is crashing down. Welcome to Highly Debatable, episode number 21 here on the MBL Network. I am OSU. I'm hanging with my man, Sonny Weaver. Sonny, this is a rare situation we are in, okay? We've labeled this as HD Extra Innings because, you know, we've only got probably 2 or 3 more episodes before the cycle is over. We don't want to start a new scoreboard. We don't want Sonny's start to a 3rd straight loss to just get going now. We want that to be a fresh start, but we've got some ideas we want to try out. So we're in this rare opportunity where we're not really competing, but the debate's still going to be strong.
Yeah, you know, and what's funny about that is actually we could even debate what the name of this show is right now, because I think we probably should have gone with overtime. Extra innings, kind of a baseball term. A little weird.
I'm just trying to mess with everybody searching for the MLB Network and be like, hey, what's going on over here? Who is this bald liar? Hashtag bald liars, everybody. Put it in the chat. We've got some new segments to try out today, so we hope you guys are excited for that. Some new debate topics. Just mixing up a little bit. We'll see what... Sonny, this is the epitome of, like, taking pasta and throwing it at the wall. We're just going to see what sticks.
Well, yeah, we were literally kicking around ideas today for various things, and, you know, this is what we came up with. So we'll see how this show goes. It could be a complete, you know...
Train wreck?
Yeah.
You're just saying? Okay, whatever. No, it's cool. Anywho, so a little change today, as we said. You don't need to vote. You can still vote if you want. If you want to point out your love for your network director, be sure to put hashtag OSUWins in the chat. If you want to vote for Sonny, remember, this doesn't count, so don't vote from now. Don't waste that vote now, guys. But yeah, no voting today. This is just a little opportunity to talk about some things that are going around in the MBL. Sonny, should we get this underway with our first new segment?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
All right, we are going to try out our first new segment. It's time for a little game of truth or trash. That is right, Sonny Weaver. Everybody out there, I will give a statement, and then Sonny and I will debate whether that statement is full of truth or should be thrown right into the can of garbage. Sonny, I will give you the first go. The first statement I have for you, truth or trash. At least 7 of the 8 current division leaders will win their division. Right now, and if you aren't looking at the standings right now, I'll give them to you. And New York Jets, Cleveland Browns, Jacksonville Jaguars, Denver Broncos, New York Giants, Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints, and Seattle Seahawks. Truth or trash? 7 out of the 8 current division leaders will win their division.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I did start off with an easy one.
I think that's tough. I'm going to say truth. However, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. I'm looking at that NFC South, I think, to be the spoiler if it's not true.
So you're going with the truth?
I'm going with truth.
The truth shall set you free.
Shout out to Liar Liar for that particular sound clip. 7 out of the 8 current division leaders will win their division. Oh boy, I have thought back and forth. I've gone back and forth, and I'm going the other way, Sonny Weaver. I'm going to say it's trash.
Oh, no. All right.
Total trash. Absolute trash. I will give you the 2 divisions that I know will not have the current division leader winning it. One of them you mentioned, the NFC South. I think that the injury to Devontae Christian, the New Orleans Saints are in trouble. They haven't looked particularly good on NBL Live when we see them. I like the Atlanta Falcons to make a run at the division. And the NFC North. Look, the Detroit Lions haven't yet played the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have 2 games against the Detroit Lions. I like the Lions to come out on top in that division. The Vikings have been a nice story. The rest of the divisions, though, I think are pretty set. Although, Sonny, you're in. I know you want to talk about your own team in the AFC South, but what's your read on this Houston Texans teams that's sitting there at 5-3?
I'm not real sold on them. No real concern there. I think, you know, I'd have to say Jacksonville's got this one right now. We'll have to see if they slip up here in the next couple weeks. When I was doing it, I counted my 7. I expected, as well as you, that the Detroit Lions would actually win that division. So that was the one I was giving them. I think the Falcons are the only chance to maybe come in there. I just don't see it. Yeah, I like that 7. So,
all right,
show me the truth.
Well, let's go to our second one for Truth or Trash. I will take the first go at this one, which is the worst division in the NBL right now is the NFC West, and I am going to say that is
Oh,
Trash.
no.
It's
All
trash.
All right.
It is not. The West gets such a bad rep. The AFC East gets such a bad rep. I'm going to say neither of them right now are the worst division in the NBL. Right now, the worst division in the NBL is that NFC South, and here is why. The Atlanta Falcons, a perpetually underperforming team, sitting there at 4-4. The New Orleans Saints sitting there at 6-3. That might be the weakest 6-3 team I've seen in a long time. Just how Ross Bottom is playing, I don't have any faith in them. I have no idea how both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers both have 2 wins, because those are 2 teams that I picture as a 1 or no win team. They found a way to slip into a couple wins. The talent top to bottom in that team, in that division, I do not like. I think the NFC South is the worst division.
Oh, that's tough. Well, repeat the question, because I want to make sure I
Truth or
say
trash?
this right.
The worst division in the NBL is the NFC West.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going with truth on that one.
Truth?
Truth. Give me truth. Get your sound effect.
It will set you free. Jim Carrey says so.
So here's why. Okay, let's put these 2 divisions head to head right now, right? So you got Seahawks, you got Saints. I'd probably take the Seahawks. After that, though, I mean, I think I like the bottom of the NFC West, of the NFC South better than I like the NFC West. I mean, you look at that NFC West, and I mean, the Rams, the 49ers, what's going on there? I think Atlanta's better than any of those teams. Tampa Bay, sneaky good at times. That's tough, but I mean, 1 win for the Cardinals. I just think the NFC West, they've been horrible the whole season. The whole cycle. I think they're still horrible. Don't let one good team sway your opinion of the whole division.
And I would just like to say, even though I said the NFC South is the worst division, please don't put me on the Dean's List, fella. Just please don't. It's nothing personal. Just saying. All right, last but not least in truth or trash, Sonny Weaver. This year's NBL Super Bowl champion will come out of the AFC North. These weren't softballs. I didn't make them softballs.
No, they weren't. Good questions here.
Thank you.
I'm going to go with trash.
Oh, no. All right.
I think Lip and Star play each other early in the playoffs. They're not in the AFC title game against each other. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that somebody from the NFC wins. I kind of like the Giants. They're playing sneaky good right now. The Lions obviously have got a shot. I just feel like maybe even my sleeper could be the Jets. I think the Jets could maybe sneak in there. So yeah, I'm gonna take the field. Give me the field. I'll say trash.
Oh, Sonny Weaver, can't we just all agree and get along?
It's the truth.
I'm going truth.
It
is truth, and here is why. I think the Cleveland Browns ended up winning the NBL Super Bowl last year. Fantastic. They did great last year. And this team is even better this year. They're undefeated. They have the best defense in the NBL right now. They've got Joe Watson playing at a high level. Now, again, all this is caveated on all these teams staying healthy throughout the thing. If Joe Watson gets hurt, I assume for the New York Jets, if Busey gets hurt for an extended period of time, you're sort of looking a different way. But as it stands, I think this Cleveland Browns team is the best Cleveland Browns team we've seen the entire cycle. And they're playing like it, and they're playing in a tough division. Are still sitting there at 9-0. I like the Browns to win the NBL Super Bowl this year. I'll give them a repeat shot to sort of break the cycle, Sonny. This cycle, we have had 6 different NBL Super Bowl champions going into the 7th year. I think we're going to stick at 6. And I think the Browns are going to win it. But that is going to do it for Tooth or Trash.
Quick question on this though. I got to ask this question because I've got the sound effects turned off because obviously my mic's on.
Yeah.
Why are you putting up George Washington?
Because he never told a lie.
Okay.
Remember?
That's where I thought you were going with. I was trying to figure out what exactly it was, but I was wondering if there was like a really cool sound effect behind that, or
that's liar, liar. And the truth will set you free. Shout out to Jim Carrey.
You can see our production meeting before the show was great, right? Because we're still working through what exactly this is. You'll see in the next segment about it.
Yeah, let's get to round 2. Round 2, another new segment, folks. It is called Next Week's Headlines. Today, I'll give it to the brainchild of this particular segment, Sonny Weaver. Sonny, what headline will we be seeing next week?
Yeah, so there's a couple of them here, and I've got some nice ones lined up for you guys. I was kicking them by OSU earlier today. So I think next week we're going to get to see a Jets versus Browns matchup, and I think it's going to be a tight game. But I think in the end, the running game of the New York Jets is going to be what determines the outcome of this one. And so I think the headline in New York next week is going to be Busey gets Lucy.
Just pure and utter disappointment in that particular.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Only disappointment because I'm not really sure if it's Busey or Bussy. That's my only problem.
We're going with Busey because it works for the
We'll go with Gare. All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb. This might be a little farther down the it might not be next week. It might be next real life week. But my headline that I went with is "Withthrown Away." Want an explanation on it? Or I think it stands for itself. The Buffalo Bills right now are sitting there at 6-3, but Christian Withrow's numbers have not been great. Their next 5 games, they've got the Jaguars, the Jets, the Patriots, the Raiders, and Chiefs. I'm saying right now, they are going to throw away their division chances and possibly their playoff chances with a 5-game losing streak. They will lose all 5 of those games because those are all pretty good teams. They already have played the Patriots once this year. Fun fact, they won that one. The Patriots are going to be looking for a little bit of revenge in that one. I don't like them to beat anybody in that 5-game stretch. I think they go from 6-3 to 6-7, and their division titles are withthrown away.
Okay, so it's funny you said that because that actually works into my next headline.
Oh.
So yeah, imagine that. It's almost like, I don't know, like we talked about this or something. I don't know.
I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know either. So the Jaguars play the Bills next week. I think what happens in this game is, the Bills get out to a lead. Daniel Shirley messes up, gives the game away. The Jaguars lose that game. So the headline in Jacksonville next week will be, Shirley, you must be kidding me.
I'm not, and don't call me Shirley. Is that the correct answer?
Shout out to Airplane.
Shout out to Airplane. Shout out to Airplane. My next headline. Oh, Sonny Weaver. It was just too easy. NBL Live tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Titans and Chargers. I'm just saying. Titanfall 3. We're done. The Titans are going to drop the game tonight. The Chargers are going to win and get to 4-5. And we're going to be questioning how good this Chargers team is because they started out so poorly, but a win tonight over the Titans. The Titans are going to drop back a game. They're going to be looking there at 3rd place in the division, wondering what they're going to do in their lives. And the LA Chargers, I'm just saying, you never count those guys out. I think the Chargers win tonight, and I think the Chargers win tonight big.
Whoa, Big's a little crazy, but
as they would say down south, grande.
Yeah. So my last headline is one over in the NFC. Didn't want to be too AFC centric, so I wanted to get an NFC quote in there. Lions versus Chiefs. I think Aaron Rodgers comes out, and I think he's gonna struggle. I think what that's gonna lead to is Bomber getting excited to unleash the rookie, and so we're gonna call the comeback led by rookie Jared Bruschi as Ice Cold Brewski.
I'm sorry. Ice Cold Brewski?
Yeah.
Well, 10 out of 10 on the wordplay. I'm going to give you a 10 out of 10 on the wordplay. My final headline, I got to go back to one that we were talking about in the last segment on Truth or Trash. I'm talking about the Minnesota Vikings. I'm looking at the remaining schedule. They've got the Chargers coming up in 2 weeks. They've got the Broncos. They've got the Lions. They've got the Raiders. And they've got one more matchup with the Lions. I think what we're going to be looking at in Minnesota for the final headline of the season, after that Week 17 game, just going to be a good old-fashioned Viking funeral. These Vikings are going to be put onto their ship, lit on fire, and pushed out to sea, because I don't think these Minnesota Vikings make the playoffs. That's right, the playoffs, after they lose a bunch of these last games, including both to the Detroit Lions.
Ouch.
It's never nice here on the elevator.
That's tough.
You know what? Let's get to round 3. I'm sure we'll be much nicer in round 3 with our 3rd new segment.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one.
Oh, look at those two. Paysinger and Riley. The busts of all busts. The NBL busts. This final segment is called Busted. It is where I will give out a player's name, a current NBL player, possibly a former at this point, who knows, but it's going to be from this cycle. Sonny Weaver, maybe collectively, you and I have to determine whether this guy is a bust or not. And I'm going to start out with a little, Sonny, I feel like these have been some hard questions. I'm going to start off with a little slow pitch softball. I'm going to go with Jorian Mitchell, the tight end in Dallas. Drafted, I believe it was 11th overall by the Dallas Cowboys. Supposed to be this offensive weapon for the Cowboys. Mitchell hasn't had that great of a career. Sonny Weaver, should we say that this guy is busted?
Well, you know, high expectations when they take you 11th overall in the draft. Only 1,400 yards, 6 TDs in 3 years. That guy's busted.
Well, here's okay. This is let me play a little devil's advocate before we fully throw Jorian Mitchell under the bus. Tid, it's the kind of humor you get here on Highly Debatable. Anywho, 3 seasons. He's 2.5 seasons in. His first season, 37 catches, 602 yards, averaged 16.3 per catch, only 1 touchdown. Last year, upped his touchdowns to 3. His average went down, but he caught 10 more balls. Here's the question, Sonny. When you're looking at Jorian Mitchell, when you're looking at any wide receiver, tight end, something like that, how much of this is on the tight end? How much of this is on the quarterback?
Oh, it's a tight end that's not very good, so he's busted.
I mean, I'm just saying. Here's all I'm saying.
Don't bail him out.
No,
Don't
here's
bail
all I'm saying.
him out.
Dak Prescott, the last 2 years, quarterback rating of 66.5, 62.2. I mean, this is for me. I mean, tell me where we are in the chat if people think that he is a bust, but he hasn't really had a quarterback to throw to him. I mean, we look at guys all the time. Who was the oh, you're killing me. It's the blank right now. San Francisco wide receiver who just ran.
Swan?
Yeah, Rashard Swan. San Francisco's quarterback situation has been awful, but we all know how talented Swan is. I mean, I'm looking at Mitchell's stats. He's got actually right there. I was not looking at Mitchell's. I was very confused. I was looking at Dak Prescott's stats, and it scared the crap out of me. I'm like, why are they playing this guy quarterback? Mitchell, though, 87 speed, 89 acceleration for a tight end, incredibly fast, 83 catch, 79 catch in traffic. Is this just like a Rashard Swan sort of situation where this guy is talented, he just doesn't have the team around him?
No, I mean, he's not bad. I'm not saying he's great, but when you take a guy at 11 overall, you expect a lot more from him. You know, you can make all the excuses you want in the world, but if you take him at 11, he better be, dang near an 1,000-yard receiver.
So let me just, before we put a bow on this one, if they drafted him, let's say, if he was drafted end of the first round, early second, he'd be much farther from a bust?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Value, bust is relative to where you take people, right? A guy that's, drafted in the 3rd round, he's not a bust. He's just doing kind of what you expect out of him. But if you're 11 overall, you better be a bigger deal than that.
I think we can put a bow on this one. He is absolutely busted. Jorian Mitchell, the first one to get the busted tag. Second player I have for you, Sonny. Player who's been talked about a lot by their what I might consider a loudmouth owner. How about Gianni Slade in Detroit? A guy who has been the big, meaty middle of that defensive line when he's been healthy. When he's been out there, though, he's had an effect on the game. Is Gianni Slade a bust?
Oh, see, that is a tough one. Again, 24th pick overall. It's a little bit different when you're talking about that. When you talk about Slade, you got to bring in the injuries, right? Because the injuries have been the big part of this guy's career. He had 10 sacks in 2018, but really since then he's not been able to recreate the magic. Only 1 year with more than 2 sacks, and since that first rookie year, 5 sacks in 2021. Here's the problem with this. He is effective when he's there. He's just not on the field enough to matter. And with that in mind, I'm going to say he's a bust. I'm going to say he's a bust because of injuries. Maybe not because of skills, but there's a lot of things that go into it. We're going to call Gianni Slade the biggest bust.
First of all, joke of the day to whoever's running NBL Network. I don't know if it's Leopard Bomber, but he said he's busting out of his uniform. Shout out to Gianni Slade. Now, here's what I will say about Slade. The injury's no doubt a big part of whether he is a bust or not. You talked about the sack number. My biggest concern is, look at the tackle number. He's only had 1 season where he's had more than 20 tackles. You know, you could lean me one way or the other. On one hand, I think when Slade is on the field, whether or not you believe it, I think there is a psychological advantage to having a 495,000-pound monster in the middle of that line. It's hard to run against him. But here's the number that tells me that he's a bust, all right? And you can talk all you want about defensive tackles, what their value is when they're drafted. Unlike tight ends and wide receivers, defensive tackles, sort of those guys in the trenches, you're looking for a little less. Maybe they're not quite as flashy with their stats. My biggest concern, Sonny, this guy, 94 strength, 91 block shed, okay? He is 6'7", 327. Only a 78 power move and 80 tackling. I think that just right there proves that he's a bust. Gianni Slade, put him on the busted list. All right, last but not least, Sonny, I saved I think the best one for last because it is an interesting discussion. Partially about numbers, partially about expectations. Brodie Denton in Atlanta. This is a guy who has been at the helm at Atlanta for a while now, but Atlanta, even with the talent they have at wide receiver, even with the talent they've had at the running back position, even with a defense that has been pretty good, Denton hasn't been able to lead them to much. Is Brodie Denton a bust, even with some pretty good numbers?
That's where I was going to go. You know, the numbers have been okay. He had a little bit of a rough year last year. I got to tell you, you almost want to call him a bust just because ownership drafted a quarterback in the first round, because you got to wonder if maybe ownership views him as a little bit of a bust.
Yeah.
And I think that may be where you're heading here. But what I will say with that is, you know, you're not a bust if you're a 4,000-yard passer. He's been 4,000 one year, close to 4,000 another. You know, always mid to high 60% passing, hit 70 his second year. Rookie year, a little rough. You know, I wouldn't say he's a bust. I think he's been okay, maybe a little underwhelming. But if you start weighing in what the ownership did with drafting his replacement, you can lean that way. But I'm going to say no bust.
Oh, Brodie Denton. I mean, Brodie Denton, the problem for me is Brodie Denton, in Atlanta, they've got some of the fastest wide receivers. They've got a talent up front on the offensive line. Denton's, ratings, 92 awareness, 89 deep, 92 mid, 95 short, 88 throw power. This guy's got the talent. My problem with Denton is the consistency, okay? Rookie year came out 72.0 quarterback rating. The next year was his big year, 4,000 yards, 120.5. But the next year after that great season, he comes back out. Yeah, he almost throws 4,000 yards. He also throws 22 touchdowns, 28 interceptions, 86.6 quarterback rating. I just don't know which Brodie Denton we're getting on a week-to-week basis. I think I'm leaning with you, Sonny. I think I'm not going to call him a bust, but maybe we revisit him after this season, because I think this season might determine it. If they can get if he can lead the Atlanta Falcons to a division title, bare minimum, a playoff spot, I think that bust rating sort of goes out of the way because of what they've been able to do. But I don't know, Sonny. I mean, what do you think? If the Atlanta Falcons miss the playoffs again with this roster, and with Brodie Denton, and with the fact they drafted a quarterback last year, if they miss the playoffs, he's got to go somewhere near the bust category.
Again, it's all relative, right? So, you know, Brodie Denton was drafted in the 3rd round. So, you know, obviously he had a real nice second year. So maybe it's new expectations, but I'm going to lean out and say just no bust. I feel like he's doing okay.
All right, the only one not to get the busted tag. We'll just put it up there one more time because it's fun to see.
We need like a no deal, like where they slam the thing down and no deal for no bust.
We'll get that for next time. Yeah, we'll get that for next time.
Yeah.
Those are our 3 new segments. So be sure to let us in the chat, whether you're watching here live, whether you're watching on YouTube in the archives. Let us know what you thought of 3 segments, which ones you'd like to keep around. But there's still one segment that is a favorite of everybody around. It's time to get shout-outs. Shout-out time here in the MBL, here on Highly Debatable, our favorite thing, where we get to call out somebody, whether it's something good, whether it's something bad. We get to call out somebody in the league. And Sonny, I'm going to go positive this week. It's been a positive week for me. We've debuted some new segments. We've got to sort of be a little less adversarial here on Highly Debatable. I'm going to give a big shout out to the Los Angeles Chargers owner, Gubb. It was announced in the league that this will be the last season for Gubb as the owner of the LA Chargers. What I call pulling a one and only. Well, going through the entire cycle, finishing out the cycle strong. As somebody who's been in his division, as somebody who has, I like to consider him as a friend, played some Fortnite, played many games outside of the NBL. Gubb truly is one of the good guys here in the NBL. I think everybody, you rarely find people who play Madden for 60 years. Everybody at one point or the other has to put the controller down and get on with what some people would call a real life. But big shout out to Gubb. We're going to miss him in the NBL. And at the same time, I'm not going to miss him at all because he has thoroughly kicked my butt at every opportunity. So, Colonel Sanders, I think, was the call up from the grid. All I'm saying to you, Sanders, is let me win so I can like you. Because Gubb, I love you, bud, but I'm just happy not to see you on my schedule anymore.
Yeah, so I'm going to also stay positive, and I'm going to go with a chat request, a shout-out to Doughboy's son, Leon, 4 years old. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Leon. And remember, hashtag Sunny Wins, Leon.
Remember, Leon, hashtag bald liar. You never want to associate with bald liars. I've done it 21 episodes. Sonny, I don't think anybody expected Highly Debatable to get past one episode. We're at episode 21 and still rolling. I like these segments. And guess what, Sonny? We might have 3 new ones for the next show.
It's very possible. We're kind of OCD. We just kind of bounce around and see what's happening.
We're all over here on NBL's only video live debate show, Highly Debatable. Extra Innings. That's what it's called, not overtime. Don't listen to Sonny. We will be back next week sometime. Tomorrow, I get to hop on a plane to old Arizona and visit NBL Hall of Famer Project Fat at his house. Sonny, 2 fat guys in 112-degree heat. It's going to be nasty.
Gonna be sweaty.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Fat, for inviting me. I'm so excited to visit Arizona in June. Appreciate everybody tuning into Highly Debatable this week. Make sure to go over to twitch.tv/NBL Network. At 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we will have our NBL Live game tonight. This bald liar over here is on NBL Live. I've already said that I think he's going to lose big, so he's going to try to prove me wrong. Facing off against the Los Angeles Chargers. Titans and Chargers, 9 o'clock Eastern Time on twitch.tv/NBL Network. For my co-host, Sonny Weaver, I pointed this way. He's actually over that way. I'm OSU. Once again, thanks for tuning into Highly Debatable. We'll see you next time right here on the NBL Network.